AITA for still going to my dental appointment after my husband tried to get me to reschedule? So I, F34, was having a horrible toothache. I'd taken medication to ease the pain, but it was bad. Like you need to go to the dentist level of bad. I scheduled an appointment and was told to come yesterday. My husband's M37 best friend, Terry, M33, got into an accident and injured his knee. He has been staying with us for several weeks. My husband looks after him as he sees him living alone and in need of assistance. I welcomed him to our home but found myself having to clean up after him and bring him his medication and also cook for him. And if I take a long time to get something done, he'd call my husband and basically tell on me. Which makes my husband mad. He says it's temporary, and also since I'm home 24/7 and he is the working, then I should help caring for his friend. It has become quite overwhelming because now I can't leave the house if my husband isn't there with his friend. Like I stated previously about the dental appointment, I told my husband the night before and he pitched a hissy fit saying I can't leave Terry home alone. I suggested he take time off work and stay with him, but he said it wouldn't work with such a short notice. He suggested that I reschedule, but I said no. Even showed him how bad the swelling was. Yet he told me to hold on for another day. He went to work early and I decided I was still going to go. Terry was in the living room. He sleeps on a large mattress in the living room, and saw me making my way out as Mom was waiting at the door. He asked where I was going and I told him to the dental appointment. He had an attitude and raised his voice at me, telling me to go back upstairs and cancel. Mom stepped in and started arguing with him, asking who he think he is. He went on about how he was unable to move and then threatened to call my husband if I stepped a foot out the door. I took my mom and left. He ended up calling my husband, who then tried to call me over and over for 2 hours till I turned my phone off. Instead of returning home, I went to stay with my mom because I was in tremendous pain, and my husband started yelling at me, calling me stubborn for still going after he told me to reschedule and irresponsible for leaving his injured friend home alone. Mom told him off, which escalated the argument between us. He is now currently staying at home along with his friend while constantly pressuring me to stop hiding behind Mom and come deal with the results of having him leave his job for hours after I blindsided him and went against his wishes. Edit. Autocorrect. NTA. The complete lack of respect both of these men have for you is breathtaking. A grown man tattling about not being served fast enough? And your husband takes his side? I know people hate the Reddit tells people to divorce trope. But this situation shows such a fundamental lack of care or respect for you. It tells you everything about his character. And the character of someone he's chosen as his best friend. I don't see how you come back from this. By the way, severe tooth pain is an urgent issue. People have died from dental abscess complications. I don't know if that's what was going on with you, but your husband was literally willing to risk your health to make his asshole baby friend happy. NTA. He's 33 with an injured knee, not 97 and on his deathbed. Since your husband and Terry are on the same side, just give Terry your ring. Clearly your husband loves him more. G's look of triumph. NTA. And don't go home. Face the consequences. These aren't the words of a husband. They're the words of a slave driver. Your husband, who should be supporting you, is acting like Terry is the only important person in the house aside from him. And you should put everything on hold to wait on Terry hand and foot, while your own needs are of no consequence. Terry, it appears, also thinks you are his servant. The fact that your husband berates you if Terry is the least bit put out tells me he values Terry much more than you. Apparently, the fact you were in incredible pain was of no matter to him. Though I'll bet if it was his toothache, he would have gone to the dentist ASAP. Get a police escort to go to your home and get your things. And then, it's time to consider filing for divorce. You want nothing more to do with this man. Or Terry. NTA. Stay with your mom, don't go back. NTA. Your husband is. I get that he cares for his friend, but really? To the expense of OP's welfare? NTA. Sounds to me like you should continue staying with your mom and let your soon-to-be ex-husband start his new life with his partner Terry. NTA. Your husband is abusive and his buddy seems to be even worse. They can look after each other. While you hopefully think hard if this is what you want to get back to, or worse, what the rest of your life will probably look like. NTA. Your husband suddenly his friend are treating you like their servant. Just stay with your mom and ditch the husband. NTA. This is outrageous. You can't leave dental problems to fester like that. Pain notwithstanding. What is the matter with your husband? Even with the dental issue, his behavior, not to mention Terry's, is outrageous. Demanding you wait him hand and foot, then telling on you when service isn't up to snuff? That alone raises major red flags as to how little he values you. But demanding you delay an emergency dental APPT, with not only pain but swelling? You obviously have an impacted tooth. An infection that could become systemic, cause heart problems. Or, if not, do lasting damage to your teeth and jaw. And he and Terry want you to delay treatment? I'm even more disturbed by Terry's behavior. Demanding you go back upstairs and cancel. What kind of human being demands this of another? Sometimes we do get carried away on behalf of our friends. Not that that excuses anything. But what the hell was this entitled dick thinking? I'm so glad your mom was on hand to put Terry in his place. Though his place really should be anywhere but your home at this point. I'm sorry to have to say this, but your next emergency APPT might have to be with a lawyer if there aren't some serious apologies and changes in the current regime. Sorry you had to endure this. NTA. He seems to be more worried about his friend than his wife. Does hubby's friend know he has 2 knees? He can use crutches and walk. You're accommodating, but you're not their slave. NTA. WTH. Does Terry think he is? He is a grown adult who should be able to be alone for a few hours. Hubby and Terry can figure it out on their own. I had ankle surgery and was non-weight bearing for 6 weeks, and I managed on my own for a few hours. Okay, so this sounds like a terribly abusive situation. It sounds like you are trapped in your home and get told on for leaving? And consequences for going to a desperately needed dental appointment? This is not a normal, safe relationship. Based on this post alone, you need to leave this relationship. Get safe. Stay with your mom. NTA. NTA. Who the hell does Terry think he is? Screw both him and your husband. They are ungrateful, and Terry would have survived a couple hours alone. Your mom getting involved in the fight might have made things worse, but I'm glad you have someone in your corner. I hope you feel better soon. NTA. Your husband is abusive. You should get out of there. And who does his friend think he is? Does Terry not have any family or other friends to take care of him? You don't owe him anything. NTA. Get out. NTA. Your husband would rather risk your life with a possible tooth abscess than have his friend, who is healthy enough to leave the hospital, be alone for several hours. They've been ordering you around like a slave. Did your husband even ask if you would be willing to help his friend? Or did he just volunteer you? You were in significant pain while his buddy had prescription meds. I bet. He could wait several hours for you to get treated. NTA Your husband is an asshole. If he wants someone to take care of his friend, he should do it or hire someone. In fact, you should be being paid. NTA. Consequences? You are not a child. Sounds like your husband just became Terry's. Unnecessary. Full-time carer. You should relax at your mother's house for a while. Consider returning to your husband after a proper apology and agreement to an anti-Terry plan. Your mom sounds great. Husband and Terry, not so much. NTA Your husband sounds like he wants you to babysit his friend, and his friend sounds like literal child. They are treating you badly up. I'm glad you can stay with your mother for now. Your husband is the a-hole 100%. NTA. Both your husband and Terry seem very toxic and manipulative. You showed the kindness to invite him to stay with you, and instead of being grateful, he treats you like his maid. You should say something to your husband as well. If he prefers Terry over you, then he might as well live with Terry.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic AITA is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.